fellas, welcome back to Factor Opinion, the grinchiest show on the internet. I'm going to steal your tree. Just kidding. I'm not going to come down your chimney and steal all your presents in your tree. Yes, it's true. We're back on Factor Opinion, where people say things on the internet and we decide whether they're true or not. Is it a fun fact or an outrageous opinion? I put out a tweet asking people to give me their final opinions or facts of 2025 with the big wrap up at the end of the year. So let's check some out, shall we? Mina Tums says social media has armed gamers with tangential knowledge of things they never cared about before. Now every release is predicated on incredibly strong opinions by random people who don't finish games and will still buy the $80 Mario Kart despite crashing out over it online. Oh, it's a full one. It's a one sweep. And you know what? This one's a softball. Obviously, it's true. It's a truth nuke, which everybody agrees. But the problem here is that the corporations thrive on this shit, man. All they did was they jacked up all the prices of their $70 and $80 games, and they put out whatever they were going to put out anyway. They didn't really change anything or justify that price by any real way, other than higher development costs, which, you know, that's going to happen anyway. I guess that's an inflation thing, whatever. But the games are the same, and now everybody's going to complain about every little thing on the internet. And I think for every person that's like, wow, the apples in this apple cart look stupid, I'm not going to buy that. There are a dozen people that are like, that doesn't really matter to me, dude. I kind of like the way that game looks. I might put it on my list. I saw more people just incensed over the Metroid Prime stuff, the NPC and the bike and the music. And I got to imagine, like, would that game have made any waves otherwise? I don't know. I feel like Metroid Dread, for, you know, it was good. I feel like there wasn't really a lot of buzz around it other than like, oh my God, this stealth section or the running section is scary. I don't know. I feel like people are going to buy what they were going to buy anyway, particularly like if they waited a long time for it. If you are a Metroid person, you're going to buy it no matter what, and the stuff online isn't going to change that. I don't know. Maybe it depends on the game, because I have this level of trust in Nintendo that I will just buy most things. I'm a drone. I'm a Nintendo drone. That's what it is. I assume that everything Nintendo does is part of a creative vision, and they had a reason to do it. Does that make sense? I'm like, okay, they wanted to do this for a reason, no matter what. The only exception is Kirby's Cars, which I got bullied into buying by chat because they said I was bad at the game, and then I spent $70 to prove chat wrong, and I have a $70 paperweight. I don't know. I feel like outrage is just part of the marketing machine now, just on a platform where everything is quote tweets and dunk posts or whatever. And it's like, even if like, a lot of people who are never going to buy Metroid anyway only increased visibility. And like, maybe it did turn a lot of people off, but who knows how many people it turned on, right? Poor choice of words. Okay, I literally don't know what I just said, and chat is all undoing me. Turn on? Okay. You guys piss me off. I always think that I get canceled or I said something completely out of turn, but no, it's just you guys are gooning. I think having anybody that is the least level interested in these things at literally any angle, right? You got that Nintendo Rage Bait guy that we've watched some of his videos, and now he's getting a pretty sizable following or whatever. He's getting a lot of views on that shit, and it's just straight up hate content. But he is buying the games, and I think a lot of people will buy the games too. I don't know. People gotta become less comfortable bringing their dogs everywhere. Like, if you're walking your dog, that's chill. Or if you're even like outside sitting at a restaurant, I shouldn't be seeing him at the movies or when I'm getting groceries. I wanted to ask this because I don't live in a city, and I think this is a city person problem. I've never seen a dog at the movie. I've seen dogs at the mall held in little purses, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. That guy's really cute, especially if I can pet them, unless it's a pug. What if my dog wants to see the movie? What do you think your dog's favorite movie would be? Literally everybody said Air Bud. All dogs go to heaven. Oh, you think he's like, phew, thank goodness. That time I barked at the mailman, I'm not going to go to hell for that. What do you think is the worst movie you could take your dog to? I think it would be Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. I feel like that would be very confusing for any pup. Cats! You guys are way funnier than me. I thought I was going the angle, I think animation and loud noises. You said CGI cats. That was way funnier. That's a good idea. I don't know why I'm doing this thought exercise. This one might be both. I don't know what this is. I don't live in a place where this happens. To me, it's an opinion, because I like to see a dog, but I never see them. But I feel like it would be very annoying However, I will say, and don't be mad at me, I am the kind of guy that I'll have my dogs off leash sometimes. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. They're very nice and friendly. Only at times when nobody's around. Only when nobody's around. They are very friendly and nice and love people. No leash in your neighborhood is chill. Depends on the neighborhood. I know his at. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna. That's how you know Bobby's from New England. I see you, dude. I know. We have a cat graveyard because of our dog. Stop buying cats. That's a terrible thing to admit in Twitch chat. You know they know your IP. They could find you. They're not our cats. That's the issue. Okay, wait. Is that worse? I feel like that's worse. I'm gonna let a lawyer decide that one. We heard our neighbor calling for one. Okay, you're the asshole. That's you. Your dog's a murderer and you are complicit. You aided and abetted. Boom! It's Fire the Pyro, friend of the stream. More games should be commended for their sense of identity and style despite a small scope or even low quality gameplay. This ranges from Kirby Air Rider's stellar presentation despite its thin content to indie games inspired by the N64 that have almost deliberately shit cameras. This is a softball. I think having an artistic vision is very important. Otherwise, you might, I don't know, put an only up level in your Unreal Engine, bloom-filled French JRPG. I think it's important to have a vision beyond what everybody else is doing, but I also think it is very easy to fall into a style over substance thing. I'm gonna say opinion. I've been thinking about it. So I'm kind of mixed on this. On the one hand, you guys know I hate Kirby Air Riders. It is elaborate, beautiful fondant and dressing or icing on a very thin cake. Kirby's Air Riders is the Whopper of video games. This is an excellent analogy. Imagine a burger, okay? When you're thinking about a video game, think of a burger. This is Kirby's Air Riders. This is the game. They got 2 buttons in that bitch. And this is like making your own rider. Those are the pickles. And the onions are the social aspect with the lobby. And the red part are the gummies that you can earn and all that shit, right? I don't want this. It's all style. It just looked pretty, I guess. But some people do fuck with a Whopper. Some people do enjoy it. I think it depends on a game-by-game basis. On the other hand, I did enjoy Nubby's Number Factory, even though it's just Peggle, but with fun graphics. The tweet says commended for it, not that they're good games. What does commendation mean? Tweeting about it? Wow, this looks pretty. That's how you get a game like, what's that game? Cruelty Squad? Which I heard was good, right? But the whole thing is the way that it looks. I don't know. It depends on what kind of game you're making. If the vision and the sense of identity and style complement the gameplay, like if you're making like a puppet combo horror game and the lack of graphical fidelity serves to freak out the player more, right? Like the faces on those kind of things and the sort of low-budget horror games, that's great. But if it's just like, I don't know, if you're being weird for the sake of it, I feel like it doesn't work. I think having a very strong art direction and cool sort of place in the space that is unique and different is what elevates like a good game to a great game. But I don't think a sense of style or identity wins you any favors when the game is like okay. Maybe with some people, then it's a crit. That is just like, oh, I'm really into this or not. There should be a limit to nominations at the Game Awards. Subs other games for being able to shine if one game wins everything. What's the limit, you think? Yeah, but what if the game is like really fucking good? I agree with you guys that I do think that's fake. However, I think it is a crime that so many games get undervalued, I think, in the eyes of sort of the general public when they get snubbed for stuff like this. Underrepresented, maybe, unacknowledged is the way to put it. Yeah, I feel like so many games aren't getting their due attention because like one game is sweeping everything just based on, not hype really, but based on like, yeah, it was very good at that time. But that said, like if you do look at the categories for, because I assume this is an Expedition 33 thing, right? Honestly, it deserved to win a lot of those. I didn't believe it was best music, but I think a lot of people did, and I totally understand that. Everybody talks about the indie game. Listen, I'm not getting into that weeds. That sliding scale of whether or not a game is an indie game or not. The art direction thing is a little weird because I think people were saying at least it's a unique art direction as opposed to like Hades and Silksong, which were great art direction, but also it is what we've seen before. I think that's bullshit. I don't think it should have won best art direction, but I kind of do also because if you count art direction as like the totality of the thing, if you include the music and all things art, not just like the visual style or whatever, I don't know. I gave it best art direction when I voted because I didn't give it the other things. But I think if you're going to give it the other things, the best art direction should not go to that. Does that make sense? I'm trying to be equitable here. I'm trying to spread this shit around. But I think, I don't know, Expedition 33 as like an experience, especially a novel one, a new one, is a commendable thing. I think it's a great game, and it clearly is an artful game. So the whole game's about. Better nomination categories would help, maybe. I saw somebody suggest that like there should be like a best level design or best game design instead of like best action adventure. But even that is like what constitutes a level. A Celeste level is not the same as like a God of War level. Is not the same as a Balatro level. There's already direction. Okay, I gotta be honest. Best game direction don't mean shit to me, man. That's too all-encompassing. Historically, apparently, it's been the runner-up category. Game of the year too. Yeah, but I get the idea of it. But maybe it's an industry thing. Somebody said best gameplay should genuinely be its own category. Yeah, but then you're going to get into this conversation of like, why is best gameplay not game of the year? Video games are toys we're supposed to engage with on a surface level. Nuh-uh, the best game of the year is an artful thing that changes your worldview and experience. And then we're getting into this bullshit, right? Anyway, this is opinion. Most of the time. However, check back when GTA 6 comes out. Hypothetically an opinion, but theoretically a fact. Yes, perfect. As we always say on the stream. Beautiful. Let me play this guy's theme song. A console will never have a good release lineup again, as long as we continue to accept 6+ year dev times as normal, while the dev kits come out 2 years before the console itself. Breath of the Wild is the exception to the proves rule because it started development as a Wii U game. It's true. It's true! What an ultimate! Apaganos Azuches! Okay, I actually don't know if it's true. But based on how the experience has been for the last few consoles, it feels right? I think it'd be that dev cycle and the dev kit thing. That's the only thing I can hope to explain these fuck-ass launch lineups. I used to be so excited when a game came out, or when a console came out. Now I'm just like, all right, I'm waiting for that one big thing, except Nintendo, obviously. But like PS5, I was waiting, I think, for Demon's Souls, and they still only got a few games on there. Xbox One even had no games at launch. My ass had to play Peggle 2. Everything comes back to everything costed so much money, bro. Games be taking so long and cost so much money to have water physics and horse testicles and shit, man. It's just dev time stuff. Why can't we be making games in 3 years? Do you think we could ever go back? Do you think there's a world where like consumers and casual players would accept what they believe to be worse games, even if like the gamers acknowledge it's probably not? The industry's probably too big now, huh? I was gonna say you could like just kind of contract it a little bit and all the casuals will leave, but then, you know, the people who appreciate games would just enjoy it more. Contract it equals 800 billion employees get fired, by the way. You gotta go back somehow. We got 800 billion employees to make one game every 30 years? We should have more studios. We can't sustain this shit. Tell them to go start their own cool independent little thing where they can make their own hero shooter for 100 players, right? What do you want me to do about it? I don't know what the fucking... Tell them to go make Highborn or Highguard. What was that game called? Highguard. That was it, right? Anyway, this one's true. I want the excitement of a good launch lineup, bro. I need something good. Uh-oh, it's Omni! People who hate the Game Awards just because their favorite game didn't win are entitled brats who need external validation in order to feel like they like the right things. Does anybody hate the Game Awards for this reason? I guess they do. Whatever. It is. I've never done this before. It's both. I've never done this before. This is the first time to do it. On the one hand, getting this invested in bullshit, meaningless awards, especially the most popular ones, is a little silly. On the other hand, I think it is completely valid to be annoyed at the state that your favorite hobby is in and to be mad at the thing that is propping it up and celebrating it the most. Maybe not mad at it, but like annoyed perhaps. The show is now just straight up ads. It has completely replaced E3, which is fine because we needed an E3. Not E3, but you get what I'm saying. It has replaced E3 in terms of being the announcement place, and the awards are just like, you know, in between the Miss Piggy cuts or whatever. And I think that that is a fine thing to be annoyed about because you think that should be a different thing. But I think you are in it for the wrong reasons, because I think at the end of the day, this is always going to be a marketing show more than anything. It's just the money came rolling in because all the other people dropped out. It's the only unifying video game event left, but it's so obvious which companies are into it and which ones couldn't care less. Yeah, Nintendo does not give a fuck about the Game Awards, bro. And I think Sony does, but they ain't got nothing to say. You're right, CONEY, but that's not what this take was saying. It's not really about your favorite game not winning. It is about the value system of the show not lining up with your own intrinsic idea of what should be important in a video game. I love the Muppets, but this is a video game award show. What games do the Muppets got? A lot, actually. Quite a few, including the Muppets Party Cruise for the GameCube. I played that game quite extensively. How many video games have the Muppets had?
I don't think it makes you a brat, but I do think that if you're foaming at the mouth that Mario Kart World won Best Racing Game over Sonic, you're a little annoying to me, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, okay. That is less like my favorite game lost and more like my favorite cartoon character lost to the other cartoon character, right? That's like, oh no, Batman lost to Superman. Like, you don't care about the comic. Your favorite interdimensional being just ended up falling to the other one. Anyway, this is true and false. I've never done that before, but I think it's a little bit of both. I get why people are mad. Emblem Ike. I was waiting for this one, bro. This one's important. Urinal's gotta be the biggest scam ever. Would it not be infinitely more efficient to have 4 more regular toilets? Not to mention the mental gymnastics that are urinal etiquette. Being cheaper for plumbing isn't a valid excuse either, because it's a bathroom. Wrong. I love a urinal. Here's why. If you don't have urinals, it's going to take infinitely longer. The process of getting in and out of the stalls, trying to figure it out, and in the process, the whole admin of it, it's going to take way longer. As someone who has very recently been at male-dominated spaces and had long lines going out the door for bathrooms. This isn't a joke, by the way. I went to go see Kill Bill in theaters, and then I went to go see John Cena's last match. A very testosterone-laden few weekends, okay? Lines out the door for the men's room. I can tell you urinals serve a very valuable purpose in our ecosystem. Because if you do toilets, bros will be peeing on the seat. They will not wipe it. You are expecting so much of human decency. This topic fucking sucks. I didn't want to spend too long on it. The point is that I like urinals and I think that they should continue to exist. Also, I can look at other men's junks and see how I measure this. Gross. Why did he say that? I was recalled, I had a family member when I was a kid. I took a family member to the bathroom. He was young and he had to go, so I went in with him. And he was too young to understand the etiquette of urinals. And, like, he just would not stop looking. He was doing this, like, trying to get around the guy's thigh. And I was like, no, stop. Like, it was a younger family. He was like 3, 4, maybe. He was learning to go potty. Anyway, how did we get to this position? Anyway, urinals serve a valuable purpose to all of us. There's a little something for everybody, right? They're easy, they're efficient. Maybe you could do a little, anthropology research, all kinds of stuff. People don't turn on games. Discourse works like this beep, except sometimes the people with opinion A are louder, so we think the majority is A, and sometimes people with B are louder. Over time, this changes, blah, blah, blah. It's the Goomba one. You guys know what this is? I think this is bullshit. Okay, never mind. This is hurting my eyes. Let me go back. Obviously, people have different opinions. Obviously, you are always going to have different algorithms of people, and some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it. But I do think there is a thing where people turn on games. I think there are cultural events that happen that make people turn on a game and say, wait, that wasn't as good as we thought it was. You want an example? BioShock Infinite. I'm doing it again. Pull the string. I'm doing it again. Everybody said, wow, this actually wasn't good, and it may have tarnished the legacy, and it got 10s everywhere before. Nobody likes Spider-Man 2 anymore. Yeah, dude, people shitted on Spider-Man 2, which I was shocked by because I played it recently. I thought it was pretty good. I've seen Breath of the Wild hate, and I'm vindicated because I've been saying that from the beginning. Obviously, Expedition 33 is the recent thing everybody's talking about, and I do think this is true in the short term because you will have, like, guy that loves JRPGs saying it's good, and then guy that hates JRPGs saying it's bad, and somebody will see that and be like, wow, people really switched up on this, not realizing those are two different people. But I think generally, the collective consciousness will correct itself in time, and games that weren't appreciated at the beginning will become cult classics, and games that were maybe overrated, overloved by the hype cycle or whatever will kind of level out. But I do think in this specific instance, when we're talking Expedition 33, like 100 people played Expedition 33 and were like, wow, this is amazing. And then 1,000 people saw it win Game of the Year and were like, wow, this sucks. Like they never tried it to begin with. And then I get lumped in with those bozos when I say that it's a fine 7 out of 10. Anyway, it's both. Again, the recent mentality of you have to play really bad media to appreciate good stuff properly is nonsense and essentially gatekeeping. Anyone can appreciate good content regardless of how much experience they have with the genre. No, I think it's true. As someone who loves bad shit, the word is properly. Now, I do think that if you play bad stuff, you can have a better appreciation of the good stuff because you see just how hard it is to get things right. And you can enjoy things more if you see how difficult it is to truly transcend and you have a sort of a frame of reference. You're like, wow, this bad thing made this look really hard, but this game made this camera thing look really easy. But properly, I don't think that's true. I think if something is truly good and it can be enjoyed by anybody, that's a boon. That's a good thing for it. However, I do think gatekeeping is a good thing and we should continue to do it. I feel like having standards for things, well, depending on gatekeeping. I think having standards for things is fine, and you can have things specifically for enthusiasts and specialists that is unappealing to the average person. But yeah, maybe this is a one guy opinion. Do you guys want another one? Because there is one that I missed. Geoff Keighley probably has the worst job in the world. Imagine being so passionate about video games you create an award show just to showcase the industry, and the industry gives you back Unreal Open World Trailer number 7, and everyone blames you, Geoff Keighley, specifically for it. This is not true. This to me, I understand the sentiment, right? Geoff Keighley is now the face of the whole industry. He's gonna absorb all of the hate from it. He's gonna be sort of the obelisk, which sort of sucks in all the anger about the awards and everything. Geoff Keighley is charging $1 million for 3 minutes of an ad. I think he's okay. He has decided that this is the cross that he will bear, and this is how he's gonna fund his retirement and the rest of his life. And you know what? It's not a bad gig to have. I think that is totally fine, right? Plus, he gets to hold hands with Kojima. That's true, yeah. He gets to make buddies with his childhood hero. Although I do think they're on the rocks right now. I don't want to infantilize people whose job is in video games. And I worry about this because I feel like Geoff Keighley, who has decided to make it like his job and his sort of his show, his thing, all the way to kind of round up the entire year. Unfortunately, it just kind of comes with the territory. He was forced to be the president of games, though. Good for him. That's a great title. I'll take people yelling at me on the internet because you know what? They're going to tune back next year. Let me put it this way. I have done so many ad deals, and I have told people about the greatest new mobile game that is sweeping the nation, the phenomenon with very generous rewards with a seasonal event happening right now, and it's the best time to play. I couldn't name 5 of them right now. I literally could not name 5 of them off the top of my head. One is Raid Shadow Legends. I'll give you that. But you know what? They paid me to do it. And it was an ad. Geoff is doing an ad show now. We can't act like it's fully love and passion. And and you know what? And I don't mean to sound bad. I think he kind of, when he keeps talking about how this next game is going to change the industry and how a small group of devs fought against the system and created the best thing we've ever seen in its Okami 2. That's a little mean. Okami 2 is pretty exciting for a lot of people. I think he has games he cares about, and the bounties throughout the show allow that to happen. For sure. I think Geoff will give a hearty introduction to a Chinese mobile game that pays him an absurd amount of money, and he will introduce it the same way that he will introduce the next project by Sam Lake at Remedy, right? It's like, and obviously one he'll give more credence to, but that's the job he chose, man. Kind of gaming related, but not really. There's no such thing as normies. Everybody has niches. You're just too dense to see them outside of the scope of your own. Nope. I understand what you're trying to say. Thank you, Keon, friend of the stream. I understand what you're trying to say, that what seems like a normie might be somebody with a lot of depth and sophistication beneath the surface, particularly you assume that people who just are into, I don't know, football, that's all they do, and they're really into football, and they're not an interesting person. But actually, they are interesting, and they have a lot of sophistication and knowledge, especially with their job, and they've got a whole world behind them and a whole family. I get what you're trying to say with normies, but I think there are so many people that also engage and act in the world on purely surface level. And I think that's great. But I do think some people just watch the thing that's in front of them and enjoy the thing that's in front of them, and I don't think it's their fault. I think the world is very hard, and working for a living sucks, and I think some people just don't put a lot of thought into the shit they do. And that sounds so elitist, and I really don't mean it to be, because I don't think I'm any better, right? I just care about that shit more. Doesn't make me a better person or anything. It's just, most people don't have the time, as sad as it sounds. Yeah, man, the world sucks. People just want to go to work, come home, relax with reality TV, drink a beer, maybe enjoy sports. Maybe you have a special interest like making birdhouses or something, and that's a great hobby. But yeah, I feel like normies absolutely exist, and God bless them for it. It's not as much as you would think, though. I think everybody has a hidden life that only they know about, and everybody's interests and the shit that they do and the passions that they have and the knowledge that they possess are unique and very cool. I think the life that others lead is fascinating and a very cool thing to explore. But I do think there are people that there's nothing really going on there, Well, guys, that's it for Factor Opinion. Did you like it? Yeah, I know, but did you like it? Down there. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Want to say goodbye to Twitch? Bye, Twitch. They said bye. You could be in there if you came to the stream, but you won't. I know you won't, because you never do. I miss you, and I wait for you to show up on the stream every time, but you never show up. I never see you. I always wait to start the stream until you show up, but you never do.